Hi you all, it's Jerusha with a new video for you on dreadlocks. I wanted to address a comment that I got that was, I thought, very interesting for me. So today is Friday, December 30th, 2016, and my dreadlocks are just a little more than 5 months old, and on July 9th, 2016 was when I got them installed. So I have dyed them about 3 times since then, and the last time I dyed my dreads was actually not my dreads, it was just the roots, and it was on October 23rd, 2016, which was 10 weeks ago. And maybe in this light you can't see it, but I've got quite a bit of root grow out. So I just dyed the roots that time, but it's about this much grow out. Yeah, so that's 10 weeks ago. You probably can't see it in this light. Sorry about that. But I wanted to shoot in a different location than my bathroom today. So I got this interesting comment suggestion on one of my videos 4 days ago. So it was by Donna Ledbetter, and she commented on my video called Detox, Dread Soak, and Voodoo Donuts. I believe something like that. Maybe I'll link below so you can see her actual comment, and then I responded to her, and then she responded back. She said, because I don't know if you guys have been watching the ones where I was talking about how my scalp was showing, because my parts, my dreads have been growing into my hair, my roots have been growing into the dreads, and so therefore my parts are very noticeable, and my hair was falling apart in the back. You could see like my scalp, and I'm not used to that. I think it's gotten a lot better since I stopped maintaining at all, or doing any like palm rolling even. But she wrote this: have you thought about free-forming or semi-free-forming? I've heard about free-forming. I had not heard about semi-free-forming. Your dreadlocks. There are no chemicals involved when you free-form. It's the ultimate detox. Since you already have dreads on the ends of your hair, your free-form dreads should grow in neatly if you're worried about how they may look. I wasn't aware about using chemicals in my hair to dread it, by the way. I did not use chemicals in my hair unless you want to consider like Dollylocks products that have Hawaiian sea salt in them to be chemicals, which of course everything, even natural things, are chemicals, really, if you get down to it chemistry-wise, you science nerds out there. So I responded to her. So this is me, SaunterScamper. I am not sure I understand. I didn't think a person could freeform when they already have their dreads started and sectioned off. How would I freeform these dreads? They are already sectioned and growing into the dreads from the scalp on their own, dreading on their own at the roots, from the roots. My hair is dreading from the roots right now on its own. If you have any videos to help me understand, I would love if you would share them in the link here. Donna Ledbetter replied to me 2 days ago. SaunterScamper, you can begin free-forming anytime. If you already have manicured dreads, you would be semi-free-forming at whatever stage your dreads are in. Just stop maintaining them. You don't use chemicals, and you don't twist or crochet your hair. She's still saying no chemicals. I'm like, I wasn't going to use chemicals. I don't think. You just let your hair grow and keep it clean. Nature does the rest. You may hear some people refer to this as neglect method. I've heard of that. There are lots of videos on YouTube using either term. Okay, neglect method. All right, so that means just like basically don't maintain my roots. Well, if my hair were not as well sectioned as it is, I would have a big long, like all the short hairs that are growing would just be like this, and it would be like on that one really crazy Dollylocks video where it's very low production value, but the guy comes in for maintenance after being like super like unmaintained. He's working in an office called The Office, and his like hair is like frizzed out up to here, growing out. It's just awful. It's disgusting. Even when he gets it maintained, it looks kind of disgusting, actually, I'll be honest. So yeah, so this is, I'll show you here, this is how my hair looks when the new growth starts coming in. You can see right here, this stuff. And it grows in these little chunks. It doesn't look like a chunk quite right now because
I just washed it. But once it gets just a tiny bit of oil in it, it will start to group together like a chunk this long right here. So it's not hard for me to get this to actually go into the dread. But what Donna Ledbetter is saying is don't maintain that, baby. And if my hair were not sectioned so well, which I will say, like some people who section their own hair, it is really hard to get it perfect, really well sectioned on your own. I think that Debbie did a good job of sectioning my hair because she could look at it from all angles, and different parts of my hair is sectioned differently depending on like how my hair growth is. I think she did it intuitively. She wasn't even telling me like she was sectioning it based on the way my hair growth was. But someone mentioned this about 2 months ago when I was complaining about my scalp showing and how I didn't have to maintain my roots, and the dreads were like, the new hair wasn't growing outside the dreads to cover my scalp. It was like growing into the dreads. And therefore it was like kind of starting to dread itself in there. Someone really aptly made this comment, like they said that my hair is really well sectioned. And so that's why the new growth is growing into the dreads instead of outside the dreads. I can't remember who that was. I should probably let you know, because that person was really smart. I've never heard of that before. Like, I know that it's important to have good sectioning, but also just depending on your journey, it's cool that you're doing it by yourself. I didn't think that sectioning it well, according to like the way your hair grows and the hair patterns, would make it so you didn't really have to do that much maintenance. Like, didn't have to work against the whole natural process. Like, your hair would start to kind of maintain itself, growing, like dreading from the roots. And in the back here, especially like some of the lower stuff, which is like fine, the more fine hair, like at the back of my neck here, when I feel this right here, it's like matted. Like, I had this dog when we were kids, like in my family. It was a Shih Tzu dog, and his hair was like slightly curly, and he had very fine hair, but you know, a long-haired dog. And it would mat sometimes from the roots. It would just mat, you had to brush him, and we didn't brush him really well all the time. So anyway, that's how that feels in the back there. This fine hair that I have, like, is matting from the roots, and it feels a certain way. It does not feel like I've dreaded it or made it that way. It's doing it on its own. And that's because it's knotting and locking up with like shorter hair. There, I can just feel it. So the hair on the back of your neck, right, like low here, especially if you're a woman, it's very fine and very soft. And so some people with fine hair have a hard time getting it to lock up because it's fine. But my hair, and I'm going to attribute this to Dollylocks shampoos, my hair that's fine right here at the areas where it's fine, even though I had, for the first 2 months, I had a hard time getting this stuff, these dreads at the very bottom here, to lock up. But now it's locking really close to the roots. Not super close, not like uncomfortably close there, but right there, like a few centimeters from the roots. So, I don't know. So, Donna Ledbetter is talking about semi-freeforming as this term for kind of like low maintenance, no maintenance, whatever, except for keeping my hair clean. And yes, I think that I am considering this actually. I think that I've probably been deciding to do this, and I probably have kind of been doing it. I'm not committed to it, of course. I'm not going to be like, oh gosh, now I can't remember the woman who has had this channel for a long time. She's a black woman. She's had a hair channel, or like, before she had dreadlocks. She started doing free-forming like in September of 2016. Before that, she had never had dreadlocks. She had well, she did try to get it like professionally done at first, but then she took those out and decided to freeform. And then I think the first time she even did anything on, because she had an afro, like a natural hair afro, and she had that for a long time. And I remember she did like an episode of her YouTube channel on Taren Guy, T-A-R-E-N-G-U-Y, I believe that's her name. She did a little episode on dreadlocks maintenance in a salon.
And she's all like, oh my goodness, I've never had it. I'm not really familiar with this at all. And like within 6 months, she's like doing it herself. Freeform. So she's talking about freeform is like awesome and it's like the best thing ever. But she starts like doing videos about it 2 weeks after she starts freeforming. And I'm like, you don't know what you're in for. No. No, she's got a great following. I'm sure she knows what she's doing. But when I saw those first videos, I'm all like, wow, your hair's gorge. Like, it's just like sectioning itself off perfectly. She doesn't do videos all that often, so I don't know. Like, I think I may be slightly older than her. I'm not sure. I'm almost 41. And I guess I see like people getting super excited about stuff, and I'm like, yeah, like, there are, like, so many hard moments, like, throughout. Like, if you're not doing many videos, if you're only doing it, like, once a month or less, or whatever, like, on your journey, it's, like, you might start to admit how really hard you're going through with your freeform. Okay. So then, of course, a lot of people think that white people can't do freeforming because your hair doesn't blah, blah, blah section off. It's not gorgeous, like gorgeous curls, gorgeous texture on its own, which I do disagree with. I think that everybody's hair is different. I think that all white people with fine straight hair actually have different potentials for their hair. I think that white people with fine straight hair, I think that's a really common search term for dreadlocks. Caucasian or white fine straight hair doing dreadlocks. Fine straight hair can actually dread really well. I thought only curly hair for a long time. I thought only curly hair would dread well. Well, if you've got coarse curly hair, maybe it's not going to dread that well. I have no idea. Also, I thought that dreadlocks went with curly hair. Like, if you have curly hair, it's more likely to do dreadlocks. If you don't, well, it's not as likely to. I thought it was about curliness or not. And I was surprised to hear somebody say something about, like, curly hair. Well, it doesn't really matter if you have dreadlocks because it's not curly. And I'm like, well, what? Like, I've seen lots of dreadlocks that look kind of curly to me. But I think that was, like, part of the process of maturation where they looked a little curly. And probably I was looking at some loops and thinking that looked like curls. I don't know. I think it just depends on how much people palm roll, too, because if you palm roll, it's going to get more straight. But if you don't palm roll your dreads while they're maturing and going through the loopy stage, you're going to have some more curl aspects of it. If I sleep on my dreads with them wet, at least early on, I woke up with some awesome curl happening in my dreads. Now my dreads are pretty tight, and so they're pretty stiff in some ways, so they're not as likely to curl, but I think as they grow out and loosen up, they're gonna be curlable, meaning like I'll be able to like curl them by like letting them be wet and like kind of pinning them up a little and then having them dry like that in the curls. They're actually more flexible than they were a month or two ago. I wouldn't have actually trusted to do this scrunching up business because I was afraid that it was gonna I was afraid it was gonna like hurt my hair because it was so stiff. So anyway, so I'm not sure when I'm going to dye my roots because my hair is, it needs the roots to be dyed pretty soon, but my hair has been getting darker. And 10 weeks, like I said before, 10 weeks since I dyed my roots. And I do have the dye already purchased, so I don't have to go out and buy it. It's just a matter of when I do it. And when I do it, my hair will get lighter and it will also look more vivid for a while before it fades out into the color I want. So for now, I'm really liking the way it's looking. I'm liking the shade that it's at. And I also am liking how loose the roots are, how they're not looking maintained. They're kind of frizzy, but not in a bad way. And so we'll see what happens there. I think that's all I had for you, is just talking about semi-freeforming, this new concept that Donna Ledbetter had introduced me to, and I was very interested in it. I don't know if it's called freeforming or not. I think that my hair is sectioned, and I do want it to be less sectioned, you know, like less maintained, less roots. But I think that's actually happening already, and maybe that's because I'm semi-freeforming, I don't know, neglect, whatever. The whole thing about semi-freeforming or neglect, I mean, I think that Lazydreads guy talked about the the method that you do being different from like the kind of maintenance that you do. I think he talked about that, but I don't know if he said like about freeforming or not. Anyway, he's a smart guy, even though he tries not to come across that way, but he's really smart. He's got a ton of videos and he does a lot of stuff on it. So he's always very humble, which is always such a nice trait in a person, actually, I think, in an expert. I think having a humble attitude is very becoming. So I'll let you guys go. Have a happy new year. New year coming in. 2017 is coming soon. Like in the next, like a little bit more than 24 hours. So I know that 2017 is going to be awesome, awesome, awesome. More awesome than 2016. That's my prediction. I am an eternal optimist, by the way. I'm sort of a realist, but I do think that I definitely tend towards the optimism. Yeah. I think that maybe 2017 won't be quite as much of a bang as 2016 for me, but I will enjoy it nevertheless. I think that I will enjoy my time in 2017. That's what I expect. So, take care, you guys. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.